Shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. And welcome to all the successful practitioners of Raigad district and whole Maharashtra. We are celebrating International Adolescents Health Week. This year's guidelines are that we have to empower pediatricians, all practitioners, paramedical persons, and parents about adolescents' issues. According to CNMS survey conducted in 2016 and 18, overweight and obese teenagers percentage was around 9.3%. And all know that adolescents represent 40% of our total population of India. So to prevent high BP, heart problems, and type 2 diabetes in them, today we are taking this online activity of nutrition, physical activity promotion, and the most important, what we have to do as a doctor for these obese teens who walk into our OPD, where the number has increased exponentially in COVID times. I am happy to invite my co-host, Dr. Sunita Ingle, for further proceedings.
Thank you, Chitra. Now I will ask Dr. Neha Singh to please welcome our guest of today, Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, who is the president of IAHW. Over to Neha.
Thank you so much, Sunita ma'am. Good evening, all the dignitaries for today's online CME. I would like to welcome our IAHW President, Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, to give his blessings for today's program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Neha. I appreciate, mention and recognize presence of Raigad Medical Association President, Dr. Adesh Kumar Pathare sir, Dr. Rajesh Secretary, and wonderful idea of this Raigad IAP and with Raigad Medical Association under able leadership of Dr. Vikas More and a person behind this, Dr. Neha Singh, Dr. Sonali, Sunita Ingle Madam, Dr. Kulkarni Madam. I congratulate for selecting this wonderful topic on Adolescent Health Week and Obesity Day on which was there on 4th of March. This obesity is really big fat problem for our country too. Nearly in NFHS data 4 and 5, this obesity has increased from 18.9% to 22.9%. So 1 out of 4 people in our country are going to be obese. And there is a serious warning from UNICEF World Obesity Atlas by 2030, 27 million, that is 2.7 crore children will be obese. And what is most important is that late night sleep, midnight binging on the snacks, and this Swiggy and Zomato, I call them as Zwagato, and this fast food and high sugar, high salt, these are all culprits. And what is the apt title to this CME? That genetics loads the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger. So even if gun is loaded, if you do not pull the trigger, you will not be harmed. But at the same time, don't be under impression that if gun is not loaded, you will not be injured. You can be injured by the butt of the revolver. So lifestyle is most important. And even if whatever that melanocortin 4 and genes, whatever is there was a study on 218,000 adults, and they have found increase only 1.23 fold increase in chances of obesity. And if good is there, 7% can be saved from this genetic preponderance for obesity. So I really congratulate Raigad Medical Association, Raigad IAP for having this wonderful CME and giving me an opportunity and selecting really the galaxy of speaker for this wonderful CME. Thank you, Neha. Over to Neha.
Thank you, sir. In absentia, I also welcome IAHW Secretary General Dr. Amol Pawar sir and IAHW Women's Committee, chairperson, Dr. Sonali Shilvate ma'am. Maybe she will, both will join after some time.
She has
now
joined.
I-
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see.
Sonali ma'am, are you there?
Sonali ma'am had joined.
Yeah.
But she is
Sonali
in a
ma'am.
program. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Now I welcome Dr. Adesh Kumar Pathare sir, President of Raigarh Medical Association. He is general practitioner at Mahad, Raigarh district. Welcome, sir. Kindly give your blessing, sir.
Unmute, sir.
Sir, kindly unmute.
Unmute करा.
Dr. Adesh, please unmute. Vikas sir, Dr. Vikas More, our Raigarh IAP president.
Adesh joined just now, therefore probably maybe joining with audio also. Dr. Adesh आहेत का तुम्ही?
सर गुड इव्हनिंग डॉक्टर राजेश शिंदे बोलतोय.
Yes.
हा बोल ना.
आदेश याचा माईकचा काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे मोबाईल मधून त्याचा
Yeah,
कनेक्ट होत
Dr.
नाहीये.
Rajesh Shinde, you can say a
Right.
few words about this activity.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, IAP Raigad and IAP Maharashtra. Raigad Medical Association is a unique association, as Dr. Vikas More sir said. It is association of all pathies in Raigad district, extending from Polatpur to Kharghar and Murud to Khopoli, Karjat. And around 4,500 delegates are there, are members of Raigad Medical Association. And as per the guidelines of our Bhishma Pitama, Dr. Dabadkar sir and Gangulia sir, we always follow their path to take our Raigad Medical Association to newer heights. As a secretary of Raigad Medical Association and as per Dr. Chitra Kulkarni madam, त्यांनी मला सकाळी आणि 2 दिवस फोन करून इन्व्हाइट केलं की I really thankful to IAP Raigad for giving us opportunity to co-host this program and when choosing a best lecture about obesity and its genetic relationship. I hope this lecture will go on smoothly and it will give us tremendous knowledge to go forward in our day-to-day life. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I welcome our MAHAIP past president, Dr. Hemant Gangolia sir, to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Neha. Good evening, our MAHAIP president, Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, and all office bearers of MAHAIP, Dr. Vikas More, IAP Raigad president, and all office bearers, AHA Raigad president, Dr. Chitra Kulkarni, and all office bearers, MAHAIP Women Committee, Dr. Sonali Shilvate, co-chairman, Dr. Neha Singh, as well as Dr. Adesh, president, and Dr. Rajesh, secretary of RMA, Raigad Medical Association, and all office bearers of Raigad Medical Association. Very happy at the outset, hearty congratulations to AHA Raigad to start all these activities with a grand phenomenon. And I think so they will be doing excellent work in association with IAP Raigad. Dr. Vikas More is there. I'm very happy to note that all these three associations, I was president one of the other time. Raigad Medical Association, I was in 2009, 2010. Then IAP Raigad, I was for almost 2 years. And last year I was on MAHAIP. And AHA Raigad is doing wonderful work. And I really congratulate all you to organize such an excellent topic, which is encompassing genetics, nutrition, exercise, and obesity. And it is the main issue in today's adolescents. Most of the time we see post-COVID these issues in our OPD. Probably this session will enlighten us on how to deal with this problem. We are going to learn a lot of things. So wish each one an happy learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Chitra Kulkarni.
I could see Dr. Shailaja Mane. She is from Central AHA Committee. Welcome, ma'am. And may I request Raigad IP President Dr. Vikas More to say a few words.
Thank you so much, madam, for giving this opportunity. At the outset, I am so much thankful to MAHAIP and especially Women's Wing and our own dear representative, Dr. Neha Singh. She is very active for this initiative along with Chitra madam. AHA Raigad is doing wonderful job this year, and this is the one of the first grand event for them. And the topic they have chosen is the obesity in adolescents. We know that even the Miss Universe Harna's Gul was body shamed after gaining some weight. We know that she is a celiac disease patient, but still she got a Miss Universe title. But the moment she got some extra weight, she was trolled on Twitter. So we know the obesity has become a very serious problem these days. The children go in depression. The parents also are worried about their overall body imaging. So that's why this topic is extremely important these days. I am thankful to Ramakant Patil sir. As always, he is always blissful for our IIP Raigad, and he always encourages us to carry forward the activities. And respected Ganguly sir, he is our guide, mentor. All the time, he is behind us. Then our respected Dr. Adesh Kumar Pathare sir, he very graciously joined today and circulated the message throughout Raigad district. That's why you can see today so many general practitioners joining today on our Zoom meeting. My dear friend Dr. Rajesh Shinde, he is the secretary Raigad Medical Association, very enthusiastic person, and he is the man today to make this meeting viral all over Raigad district. Then I am so much thankful to Dr. Snehal Mallamir from Apollo Hospital Genetics Department, and I know she's a very able genetist and doing a great work. I can see Dr. Amol Pawar, who is good friend and always great supporter for all IIP Raigad activities. Thank you so much. While traveling also, he has joined to this meeting. Thank you so much. And Dr. Sonali Shirbhate madam also joined, and thank you so much madam for giving your blessing. But I will not forget the taking name of Dr. Chitra Kulkarni madam. She is very meticulously planning each and every activity of IIP AHA Raigad and along with IIP Raigad. That's why you can see we are doing so many activities. I have no words to thank her for her such a meticulous planning. And at the end, our own Dr. Jay Bandakar sir, you know, he's looking so fit. I am so much eager to see him today. And lastly, my dear friend Dr. Pallavi Joshi, now after marriage, her name is Suriti Kandekar. She's a nutritionist from Nagpur. So you will be, she has written 3 books on renal nutrition. She is a national faculty in nutrition, and we are very happy to see her on this CNA. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Neha.
Thank you, Dr. Vikas, and over to Dr. Sunita to introduce our first speaker.
Thank you so much, Chitra.
Can I intervene? Can I, Dr. Adesh, please, 1 or 2 lines. Adesh, please, join us all to meet us.
Adesh, Dr. Adesh
Hello.
Kumar has joined. Yes.
हॅलो येस सर दुसऱ्या मोबाईल वर जॉईन झालेलो आहे.
Yes.
बोला
Yes,
बोला
yes.
आदेश.
बोला.
थँक्यू. सर्वप्रथम IIP चा आभारी आहे आणि ह्या इंटरनॅशनल ॲडोलसंट हेल्थ वीक च्या निमित्ताने जे सेम वेबिनार घेतलं त्यासाठी शुभेच्छा पण, आणि हा चांगला असा उपक्रम आहे. सर्वप्रथम गंगोलिया सर, कुलकर्णी मॅडम आणि आमचे विकास सर यांचा आभारी आहे, आणि या वेबिनार साठी ऑल दी बेस्ट.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I can see Dr. Amol Pawar, who
Yes,
is the
yes,
Secretary
I want to
General.
speak. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It is very good initiative that the 4th March was the Child Obesity Day, and somewhere Raigad IIP was with this long pending webinar today on Sunday holiday. They are conducting it with Raigad AHA and along with the Raigad Medical Association also. So today only we talked very much about at Navi Mumbai, the IIP function was, IIP TOT was there on school going children, Sankalpa Sampurna Swasthya. So in that also there was much discussion about this obesity. We know Barter hypothesis, the onset of adult diseases in childhood and in first 2 years of life. So there are many ways we can reduce obesity, and after this session, all doctors or all delegates will get answers. So I thank Dr. Vikas More sir, Dr. Chitra Kulkarni madam, and all the members of Raigad IIP team and Raigad AHA team for inviting me as a guest. And also they have involved Raigad Medical Association also with this initiative. So I congratulate team members of Raigad, and over to you, Sunita ma'am, for further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Dr. Amit. Now we go to the main academic sessions. Today we have 3 talks by our reputed speakers, and I will request everyone to put questions in a chat box so that these question answers will be taken after the sessions are over. So our first speaker for today's session is Dr. Snehal Malakneet, madam. She is a consultant clinical geneticist with postgraduate training in pediatrics and fellowship in clinical genetics from KEM Hospital, Mumbai. Madam is practicing in Navi Mumbai at a clinic of genetic medicine in Nerul, and she is also the clinical advisor for Med Genome Laboratories. She has attachment at Apollo Hospital, where she runs the genomic medicine clinic. And Madam sees variety of patients, especially with related to genetics, from all faculties of medicine, like for example, like premarital, preconceptional, prenatal, pediatric, as well as adult medicine to cancer genetics. Madam has been invited as a speaker at various clinical meetings, award poster and case presentations at national and international conferences, and also has publications in national and international journals and book chapters. So over to Dr. Snehal, madam. Madam, you may start your talk. Start sharing the screen now.
Visible and audible?
No.
Is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, madam, but we still can't see your presentation. Now it is.
Now it is seen?
Yes. Go ahead now.
Okay.
Can we make it full screen? Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chitra madam, Raigad IIP, and the beautiful session, because there is a bunch of varied audience, that we have pediatricians, we have general practitioners, and nutritionists. It is so important when we address nutrition. We just can't, we have to take multiple people together. And at Apollo Genomic Institute, what we are trying to do is we really want to genetics and fertility.
Sorry to interrupt you, madam. Your voice is breaking, ma'am.
You can put off your video so that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, madam, audible better?
Yes.
Okay. So, madam, this very important which has of many factors in etiology, and also in treatment, we have to address many factors. Ma'am, I'm audible now? Better?
Still cracking.
Still cracking. Okay.
Try once again.
At Apollo Genomic Institute, now better?
Yes.
So at Apollo Genomic, from different members, Dr. Rashid Merchant, who is a senior pediatrician who has joined us, and Gauri, who is counselor, because what happens is obesity आणि चित्रा मॅडम मला म्हणाले मधून मधून मराठी पण बोला, कारण की हा इतका कॉमन टॉपिक आणि कॉमन मॅनला अप्लाय करणारा टॉपिक आहे that we are facing so many questions. We start doing investigation patients. Preventive strategies are very difficult sometimes in each patient. Are my slides moving, madam?
No.
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 Yes.
Hmm.
Now.
And audible also, no? So I'll go ahead with the presentation.
No, your voice is breaking.
Okay. I'll
Madam, voice still cracking. Just see what about.
Ma'am, we have to reduce the number of devices connected to your Wi-Fi.
मॅडम मला वाटतं तुम्हाला कॉल करावा लागेल ते वाटतं बहुतेक नेटवर्क इश्यू झाला. I think so, Dr. Chitra madam, just call her and can take another topic if she's taking time to connect. Hello, madam, we are not able to hear you.
now I've connected through another device. Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, now better.
Okay.
But now do the full screen slide, full screen presentation.
Okay.
Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Unmute,
Sorry
yeah.
for the interruption. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, madam.
So as we see, in the slide, first slide is childhood obesity. Everybody knows that. Now, no problem, no, madam? I can go smooth. Yeah, okay. So as we see childhood obesity, global pandemic, we know everything. We have very many preventive approaches. We keep hearing in our meetings. And we also know that there is a life cycle approach. Preventive interventions go as far back as affecting maternal, fetal, early childhood nutrition, prenatal environment. We know that family, community, and school involvement is so important. And when we talk about this, when we involve community, we are targeting making long-term effective government policies so that we have some uniform policies which can be tailored down to our office practice. So how can we do it? That's the important question. In childhood obesity, as our Nelson pediatric textbook says, that right from first 1,000 days, that is period from conception to age 2 years, it is increasingly recognized as a modifiable period related to risk in childhood obesity. And this is known since years. It's not that something which I am highlighting new, but what has started happening is, because it was highlighted that these first 1,000 years are important, people started thinking whether something related to genetics is coming into picture, whether something related to genetics is playing a role, because we are dating back for obesity causes to right from prenatal causes, and then we are going to family, and then we are going to family history. So and then parental obesity is correlating with higher risk of obesity in children, prenatal factors, and sometimes we know that paradoxically intrauterine growth restriction with early infancy, this is also important when it comes to central adiposity, which is very important especially in Indian context. And hence, when it comes to office practice, we are developing, in spite of so much of information related to genetic, non-genetic factors and preventive approaches, for single patient management becomes challenging. When it comes to preventive approaches, we know antioxidants, we know diet, we know nutrition, we know exercise, and still handling one patient becomes very challenging because we are now moving towards personalized approach to every child and family. And if you see during COVID, because there was a lot of online apps, now people have developed, nutritionists have developed online apps which cater to person. They take personal history. We know that we used to have diary, personal diary maintenance and 24-hour recall, 8 days recall, and then plan a diet in case of overweight and obese patients. So now they are actually calculating intake of micronutrients, macronutrients of a person and then modifying. So personalized approach, which is very much similar to what we are doing in genomics, is personalized genomics. So addressing genomics and how can we go ahead with this personalized approach, and whether we have some insights from genomics. And this is where genomic suspicion comes. So now whether role of genetics is there in which patient and role of non-genetic factors in which patients, because the thing is we have limited options in pediatric and adolescent age group when it comes to therapies. See, we have nutritionists, we have so much of online information going on for patients and their families that they try that first. So what is the doctor's role when it comes to obesity and overweight? Because they know a lot, they have still have many questions, and there are psychological questions. So exactly where doctors stand when it comes to advice regarding overweight and obesity, and especially when it comes to genetics, because anti-obesity drugs have a limited role in childhood. They are not recommended in younger children many of the times. Bariatric surgery is reserved for morbidity, obese, older adolescents. Long-term safety data is still limited in this age group. So we are stuck where we really offer therapeutic options and management options to these families. There are multiple studies still going on, right from breastfeeding and childhood obesity, epidemiology of childhood obesity, overweight in India. Then what is the definition, etiology, and approach when we approach obese child? So when we approach obesity in children and adolescents, we have two groups. When we have to be very specific when it comes to addressing genetic and non-genetic. So we have to have a clear guideline sometimes. Some areas are still unclear where I will specify. And this meeting, I said that it is important because we really need collaboration with you all, with our community doctors, participation of our community data, so that we refine these guidelines for our patients. So obesity in children and adolescents, syndromic and non-syndromic. Syndromic, we know Prader-Willi, Bardet-Biedl, Alstrom, and there are many syndromes in line. And in non-syndromic, we have monogenic and polygenic. Monogenic meaning a single gene which is causative of obesity. Please be clear here that we have single gene causes of a disease where side effect is obesity, we are not talking about. We have monogenic, which is direct causative of obesity. And then there are polygenic factors. Now, polygenic, there are multiple genes. Like we have multiple genes, sometimes there are diabetes susceptibility, cardiac disease susceptibility, there are other susceptibility genes, and they are also having role in that obesity. So we have polygenic, and there is a lot of work going on in polygenic research when it comes to chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, obesity. And many research institutes and laboratories are behind developing polygenic risk scores, where we can have some investigations of a group of genes, and then whether we can give some high risk report to patients. But what has started happening here, that we are also seeing some over-the-counter genetic tests, which are sometimes offered by packages, where they at random give some scores and tell that you are at a high risk of cancer, you are at a high risk of obesity, you are at high risk of thyroid, these are the confusing reports. And we should be very clear that doctors should advise that no taking up of over-the-counter genetic test unless the doctor is involved. So that should be clear. So we are not going to talk about much on polygenic factors. We are going to talk about syndromic and monogenic, where we have some guidelines to give. Without going into details of the chart, here just to mention that we have syndromes on left side, Prader-Willi, Bardet-Biedl, Alstrom, Albright hereditary osteodystrophy. Then there are syndromes like Down-Turner-Cohen, where we have obesity, but we have also thyroid abnormalities causing adolescents' obesity and hormonal factors. So every syndrome has specific clinical phenotype, what we call it as clinical features. And if that classical clinical phenotype is seen and you are able to diagnose that this is Prader-Willi, go ahead with investigations. Like you have neonatal hypotonia, feeding difficulties, history of feeding difficulties, followed by hyperphagia, weight gain, developmental delay, hypogonadism, you can directly take up DNA methylation testing if you're sure that you're dealing with Prader-Willi. But when you have cone road dystrophy, you have polydactyly, obesity, cognitive impairment, you open your book, you open your Google OMIM, that is Online Mendelian Inheritance in Man website, and you are getting clear-cut idea that you're dealing with Bardet-Biedl, then you can go ahead with gene sequencing. So there are some clinical classical features which will direct you towards one particular syndrome, and you can take up test on right-hand side. If you are sure that you're dealing with a cytogenetic syndrome, you can go ahead and do the investigations so that you know that this is a obesity in a genetic syndrome or genetically syndromic related obesity. And then there are sometimes classical features, like left side you have this Bardet-Biedl syndrome, retina showing clear-cut changes of dystrophy, and you have a clear-cut child of Prader-Willi. So here we are sure that we're dealing with syndromic obesity. And then genetic factors. So easy to counsel parents about genetic testing and the cause of obesity and what will be the options for treating this obesity. Now, recent genetic advances in investigations, like we are doing next generation sequencing, exome sequencing, genome sequencing, genome-wide studies. So genome-wide studies are being done on research basis, where we are doing these studies and pulling data where we can, in some population, we can get high risk genetic loci, which can be contributed to obesity, which can be contributed to cardiovascular disease in that population. I earlier told you that polygenic risk scores or polygenic factors. So genome-wide, you will hear this in many conferences or in publications, that genome-wide studies, which also I was talking to Chitra madam, that genome-wide studies are being done at research basis. If somebody wants to do a research on a particular population and whether our population has those loci, so we are contributing to that research. And for syndromes like Prader-Willi, other tests specifically to that syndrome. So what has happened that because of so many multiple testings are available, research is going on, this is contributing to a deeper understanding of childhood obesity, allowing us to development of clinical tools for diagnosis and prevention. And it is also allowing us to use and develop newer therapeutic agents. Because what happens is at one stage, sometimes if obesity is not getting addressed because of all these measures, people are going to look for drugs. People are going to look for medicines. Ye goli aa jaye, and then, I will have some control over the obesity. Because at certain point of time, we are hearing, we quite well know that people go into depression. It takes on health, it takes toll on their mental health, trolling, adolescents especially. They are not in position that we have some dialogue and they may understand. They are looking at social media trolling. So at some point of time, we are going to look towards therapeutic agents which will help us in managing this obesity. So here also doctor should be clear that which new therapeutic agents are coming, in which patients we can use, and what is their limitations and what are their benefits. When it comes to testing, the middle figure is DNA and the nucleotides, which just to say that the nucleotide change causes mutations. Right-hand side, we see that chromosomes are made up of DNA, and down we have DNA, RNA, amino acid chain, and protein. So when it translates to investigation, this is just to tell you in brief that left-hand corner, we have genome, where we are doing complete genes. All the genes in the nucleus are studied in genome sequencing. Gene is made up of exon introns. So when we study only exons, which made up mRNA, it is exome sequencing. And when we study whole proteins in the cell, it is proteome study. So proteome study is being done in research in these chronic disorders. So which proteins together, how they interact, together how they are contributing to the disease. And we have one more term now coming, metabolome. We have genome, exome, proteome, and we have metabolome, meaning which of the genetic or epigenetic, other genetic factors or epigenetic factors which are contributing to metabolic syndromes or metabolic disorders in a together, in connectivity. In this figure, just to show you a few investigative platforms, carrot app everybody knows. Then there is fish, which we know which can be applied to specific syndromes. Then this is MLPA testing for deletions and duplications, which is used in DMD and some of the syndromes and some of the big gene deletions in obesity syndromes also. Down there are microarrays which are used in developmental delay, intellectual disabilities related syndromes, and this is sequencing, that is genome sequencing, exome sequencing. So these are the platforms which are used for genetic testing. So these are the monogenic obesity genes on left side. We are not going to details in this chart, but genes are mentioned on left side. And MC4R, which is the prominent commonest gene associated with 3 to 5% of children with early onset severe obesity, which there is hyperphagia, early onset obesity, and increased fat and lean mass. So these genes can be directly sequenced, or you can use exome sequencing also if you are not sure whether which gene we are dealing with. We know that why we are when we are clear about, when we want to be clear about role of genetics in obesity, we have to be clear that which molecules we are addressing, because every report, when you are addressing any testing to a patient or addressing in a report, which molecules we are going to study, because it starts from hypothalamus. We have ghrelin, we have adiponectin, we have leptin. So when these hormones are acting at, whether it is at a neural level or whether it is at a hormonal level or any neurotransmitter level or receptor level, which will be clear, for example, from this figure, that we have insulin, leptin, ghrelin. These are the common molecules. So our role as doctors is limited to addressing these problems. We are not going to talk to patients about cause because of unknown genetic factors. We have to be sure that if we are dealing with these genetic factors when it comes to monogenic obesity, and these are the just pathways where MC4R comes, that just as an example I have given, that these molecules POMC, then AGRP. So these are just to give you a visual glimpse that these are usually written on reports where we address each gene or each receptor, and this is how they work when it comes to hypothalamus. So the point to make here is, we are developing now therapeutic agents which are acting in this circle. So if something acting at the receptor level, something acting at this molecular level, and if they can modify the eating behavior or the hyperphagia or the satiety, and if it is going to help us in managing obesity better, so this will be very important for us to understand when we apply drugs. For example, we have MC4R, which Dr. Ramakant Patil talked about, that commonest monogenic obesity. So very small chunk of that way severe obese children, 2 to 5%, but then they can be manageable. So we have to we are seeking points when we are discussing genomics and obesity, that whether we can treat, whether we can early identify, whether we can tell them that this is genetic and this is not treatable by drugs, go ahead with bariatric surgery, or how much is the role of prevention. So while we categorize, we should know these figures. That is why I have taken this example, that MC4R, 2 to 5% of severely obese children, 1% of very severely obese children, and they tend to gain weight from early childhood. So something which the people appearing big bone and all these features, we can have hyperinsulinemic, we can have, and if we have suspicion of MC4R, we can have that sequencing and genetic, explanation to parents. What is the catching point here is, MC4R, even from 2 alleles, even if one allele has mutations, that is heterozygous, it has, some adults also have that mutation, and sometimes adults also have that cause as a genetic cause to obesity, because they have less intense feeling of hunger, hyperinsulinemic than children with the same mutation. So it runs in families sometimes. So if you have a family with fitting into this phenotype, you can just may say that this is we are dealing with monogenetic. This is, I'm taking an example in monogenetic obesity so that you can try to gather those points on clinical history, try to gather those points from family history. And this is also important because MC4R agonists are in trial. Phase 3 trial has been completed for few drugs. And these drugs, because not as we have seen earlier, that bariatric surgery is sometimes very risky in some patients. So we have to balance it out, which severe obesities we are dealing with bariatric surgery, after bariatric or before surgery also, whether we are going to advise them drugs, or while we deal with them for reduction of weight. When they cope up with this preventive factors, it is very difficult to make them exercise, to make them have a diet control. It becomes very difficult. It may be difficult for 1 or 2 years. They don't cope up, and then they again go in depression. So sometimes role of therapeutics comes if we have to give them initially. So approach for specifically for genetic evaluation, I am delineating here that overweight, obesity, and as per the BMI calculation, we all know history and physical examination is completed. So from this history and physical examination point, if you get some abnormal points in the history, that there is, previous child affected, previous child died with some problems where there was obesity or Prader-Willi, you don't know. And then you are having some family history. So some pointers in history or some pointers in physical examination as per the syndrome. You are hypogenitalism, you have retinal problems. So some abnormal pointers. And then you have additional evaluation based on the findings, like you go ahead with ophthalmic examination, X-rays, osteodystrophy, blood examination, depending on the syndrome. And then if you get attenuated growth velocity, we are going towards endocrinology causes. If there are neurodevelopmental abnormalities and very severe hyperphagia, which is not getting explained by anything, go ahead with genetic evaluation. So anything very extreme abnormality along with these abnormal findings. CNS injury, of course, hypothalamic obesity, and we have different different platforms to investigate. History of medicinal side effects, antipsychotics, especially in adolescents, then you have specific evaluation profile. And where everything is normal, just obesity, BMI because of lifestyle issues, and you will evaluate for comorbidities and accordingly you will advise. So here is the role specific of genetic investigations, where you have this line completed, then you go ahead directly with genetic investigations. When you genetically evaluate a child, if you're dealing with a child with developmental delay, and if it is there, and if you get a specific features of Down's, Turner's, or any syndromic feature, dysmorphism, you look in the books or you take help of specialist geneticist and ask them, and you can go ahead with karyotype methylation study Prader-Willi directly. Sometimes what happens in infancy, especially for pediatricians, we never get sometimes typical dysmorphism. So there is a catch here, and then we want to deal with questions of parents ki obesity hai ki nahi aur kya karna hai, it's just an infancy, whether we can feed this child. So you are having hypotonia, developmental delay, you are query whether you're dealing with Prader-Willi. You can go ahead depending on the investigations. If you get, as we have mentioned, neonatal hypotonia, neonatal feeding difficulties, hypogenitalism, you can definitely go ahead with methylation studies. And then if it comes negative, or if you have features like retinal dystrophy, photophobia, nystagmus, if this comes positive, go ahead with these genes, Bardet, Biedl, Alstrom tube deficiency on exome sequencing or gene panels. If everything is negative from this side, but you are getting other factors like Albert osteodystrophy, or you're suspecting strongly genetics, that there is developmental delay, there is history suggestive of it, you're not getting other findings, you can straight away go ahead with other genetic or gene sequencing. If there is no developmental delay, you are suspecting genetic evaluation, doing a genetic evaluation on history, examination, your query dysmorphism, query genetic pointers, but there is no developmental delay. So we have an impression that developmental delay always genetics, no developmental delay, no genetics. No, because nowadays we are finding genetic causes in multiple diseases. If there is no developmental delay, we can directly go ahead and measure leptin, insulin, proinsulin. If investigations are positive, depending on low and high levels, depending on the hormones, we can directly go ahead with sequencing of these genes. And if investigations are negative, as we have said, that there are multiple other monogenetic obesities, you can go ahead with those sequencing platforms. So this is a simple approach where we can take up genetic evaluation on our own and counsel parents. Now, after...
Madam, sorry to interrupt, madam. We are running out of time.
And then I'm just addressing three points here about nutrigenomics, because that is going to come as I've said, that it is very difficult to manage obesity. Whatever you do, you diagnose, you don't diagnose. It is becoming a challenge to manage obesity people. And we have nutritionists today in the meeting who have logged in. So nutrigenomics and nutrigenetics is a new field where we are studying new micronutrients, how they are impacting our genes, and whether food factors are associated with any nutrigenetics, whether they are causing any impact on our DNA regulations, and whether they are affecting our metabolic syndromes. So challenges and opportunities for India are, we are having seen rapid socioeconomic health and nutritional transition in last 20 years. Along with challenges of malnutrition, we have burden of overnutrition, mixed dietary patterns. So key challenges, whether we can use that genetic data translate to our population, whether we can take help of nutrigenomics research in our collaborations. So in conclusion, we have to have very clear-cut ideas which patients are syndromic, monogenic, where you can directly apply genetic investigations. Polygenic, we can tie up for research if any of you on an institutional or a group basis wants to do polygenic risk score in our adolescents and adult and childhood population. And also nutrigenomics, some of the community research is going on with ICMR. Dr. Chitra madam was asking की आपल्या तुमचं म्हणजे IAPचं पण आणि दुसरं पण जे ग्रुप्स आहेत त्यांनी पण ICMRच्या रिलेटेड किंवा अजून जे लोक स्टडी करतात त्यांच्याबरोबर कोलॅबरेट करून जर डेटा केला प्रोड्यूस तर सायमल्टेनियसली ओव्हर 2-3 years आय थिंक वी विल ऑल्सो बी हॅव अ क्लिअर कट आयडिया वेदर वी वॉन्ट टू फोकस इट ऑर नॉट. कारण खूप सारे फूड प्रोडक्ट्स येणार, खूप सारे गाईडलाईन्स येणार, खूप सारे कन्फ्युजिंग इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन्स येणार. सो बाय दॅट टाइम if we can be prepared with our own data, it would be helpful for more collaboration. And that is where Apollo Genomics also, I said that my team is there. We would like to help you to interpret, to develop these projects and write these projects. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Snehal, madam. It's a very complex topic, but you have highlighted the importance of genetic studies in the management of obesity very well. Now, we will take questions after the third talk is done. Now we proceed with the next talk, and it is by Dr. Suniti Khandekar, nutritionist who is from Nagpur. Madam has sent a video which we will play right now, but she will be definitely there for answering question and answers. I request Neha to go ahead and share the video, please.
Sneha,
Namaskar. This is Dr.
Yeah, ma'am,
Suniti
you can
Khandekar,
cut
and
it short
you
little
are
bit.
all welcome to Diet and Kidney Academy. I would like to thank Dr. Vikas More and Dr. Chitra Kulkarni ma'am for giving me this opportunity on the occasion of International Adolescent Health Week 2023 to have a dialogue with you all. So let us begin today's topic. Before that, a brief introduction about me. I'm Dr. Suniti Khandekar, an MBBS clinical nutritionist, MBA hospital administration, and has been practicing clinical nutrition and dietetics for the last 15 plus years. I'm the author of 3 books on kidney nutrition, Indian diets and kidney diseases, Kidney का स्वास्थ्य हिंदुस्तानी स्वाद के साथ, and Kidney से आजार आणि भारतीय आहार in Marathi, which are available on Amazon, Flipkart, Notion Press. And recently we have come up with renal nutrition basic courses, and advanced and comprehensive are going to be launched soon. So basically, the first motto for International Adolescent Health Week in India should be Think Indian. We have to think about the Indian diets, we have to think about the Indian climatic conditions, and we as practicing doctors, pediatricians and nutritionists should think about the Indian scenario which is currently going on and work accordingly. So Adolescent Health Week 2023, nutrition to prevent obesity is the main attraction for this year. So first of all, we have to have a staged approach to weight management. अब इस स्टेज्ड अप्रोच को 3 स्टेजेस में डिवाइड किया गया है. मेनली स्टेप 1 में क्या है, तो क्लिनिकल असेसमेंट, BMI, बॉडी मास इंडेक्स और ओबेसिटी रिलेटेड रिस्क फैक्टर्स को ओवरऑल क्लिनिकली असेस करना चाहिए. पेरेंट्स का जो वेट स्टेटस है, पेरेंट्स के जो वेट रहते हैं, प्रीवियस वेट या करंट वेट, उसको भी जानने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए. कोमॉर्बिडिटीज अगर बच्चे में है, एडोलेसेंट में है, तो ओबेसिटी रिलेटेड है, वेट रिलेटेड इश्यूज है या कुछ और है। ब्लड प्रेशर मॉनिटरिंग करना चाहिए, मेजरमेंट ऑफ फास्टिंग लिपिड प्रोफाइल करना चाहिए, HbA1c देखना चाहिए, ताकि हम ये समझ पाए कि क्या वो एडोलेसेंट, क्या वो बच्चा टाइप 1 डायबिटीज में पहले से है या अभी बिकॉज ऑफ वेट गेन वो टाइप 2 में आ रहा है। फास्टिंग ग्लूकोज लेवल्स भी देखने चाहिए और अमाइनो ट्रांसफरेज लेवल्स भी देखने चाहिए। एजुकेशन देना चाहिए टू सपोर्ट हेल्दी ईटिंग एंड एक्टिविटी बिहेवियर्स, और एक कंटिन्यूस फॉलोअप रखने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए। ये स्टेप 1 का अप्रोच है। स्टेप 2 जो है वो स्ट्रक्चर्ड वेट मैनेजमेंट है ओबेज एडोलेसेंट का, जिसमें मंथली विजिट रहनी चाहिए पीडियाट्रिशियन के पास भी और एक क्लिनिकल न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट के पास भी। और जो अप्रोच है उसमें काउंसलिंग का पोर्शन सबसे ज्यादा होना चाहिए। उसमें सबसे ज्यादा बच्चे के बिहेवियरल अप्रोच के बारे में बात होनी चाहिए। डिटेल काउंसलिंग विथ पेरेंट्स एंड इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ पेरेंट्स होनी चाहिए, ताकि बच्चे खुल के बात कर सके। फिर न्यूट्रिशन गोल्स होने चाहिए, फिजिकल एक्टिविटी गोल्स होने चाहिए, वेट गोल्स होने चाहिए और मोटिवेशनल अप्रोचेस होने चाहिए। तो ये जो स्टेप 2 है स्ट्रक्चर्ड वेट मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम, इसके बारे में हम डिटेल बात करेंगे। एंड मी बीइंग अ क्लिनिकल न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट, स्टेप 2 के बारे में हम लोग ज्यादा बात करेंगे। स्टेप 3 जो है वो कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी इंटरवेंशन है, जिसमें मंथली विजिट होता है पीडियाट्रिशियन और न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट के पास। फिर मेंटल हेल्थ जो है कि बच्चे ओवरवेट है, ओबेस है, तो क्या कुछ बुली हो रहा है, क्या वो डिप्रेशन में है, क्या एंजाइटी में है, या कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है सेल्फ एस्टीम के बारे में या बॉडी इमेज के बारे में, तो उसके बारे में जानकारी जरूरी है। फिर एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव वेट मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम होना चाहिए, जिसमें हम लोग बात करेंगे कि न्यूट्रिशनल और बिहेवियर काउंसलिंग कैसा रहना चाहिए। कोमॉर्बिडिटीज का मैनेजमेंट भी होना चाहिए। जो पेशेंट्स ओबेसिटी रिलेटेड कोमॉर्बिडिटीज है, जैसे टाइप 2 डायबिटीज अभी बढ़ गया है बच्चे में, या ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव स्लीप एपनिया है बिकॉज ऑफ टू मच ऑफ वेट गेन, या नॉन अल्कोहलिक फैटी लिवर प्रॉब्लम है, इसके बारे में भी बात होनी चाहिए। और वेट लॉस सर्जरी, ये स्टेप 3 का अप्रोच है मेनली। तो हम लोग बात करेंगे कि स्टेप 2 का स्ट्रक्चर्ड अप्रोच या वेट मैनेजमेंट कैसा होना चाहिए। ओके, सो एक क्विक रिवीजन। विजिट फ्रीक्वेंसी मंथली होनी चाहिए। ग्रेटर इंटेंसिटी ऑफ काउंसलिंग होनी चाहिए, ताकि लंबे समय तक हम पेशेंट्स और पेशेंट्स के पेरेंट्स से बात कर सके। न्यूट्रिशन गोल होना चाहिए, फिजिकल एक्टिविटी गोल होना चाहिए, वेट गोल होना चाहिए और मोटिवेशनल अप्रोच होना चाहिए। तो ब्रेकफास्ट का न्यूट्रिशन गोल सबसे पहले हम लोग डिस्कस करते हैं कि मॉडरेट ब्रेकफास्ट रोज लेना चाहिए और ब्रेकफास्ट कंपलसरी है। ब्रेकफास्ट में हाई शुगर आइटम्स अवॉइड करने चाहिए। चाइल्ड को, बच्चे को नॉन ब्रेकफास्ट फूड आइटम्स भी दे सकते हैं, जैसे जरूरी नहीं है कि पोहा, उपमा या सैंडविच या ब्रेड ऑमलेट ही खाना है। अगर वो सब्जी रोटी खाना चाहता है या दाल चावल खाना चाहता है, तो भी उसको ब्रेकफास्ट देना चाहिए, उस वक्त पे कुछ खाने के लिए देना चाहिए। आइटम्स हम लोग वो जो फूड आइटम्स हैं हम लोगों को पहले से ही प्लान करके प्रिपेयर करने चाहिए, और पेरेंट्स को ये सिखाना जरूरी है। अगर बच्चा ब्रेकफास्ट करने के लिए थोड़ा सा रिलक्टेंट है, नाराज रहता है, तो उनको बताइए कि आप थोड़ा सा खा सकते हैं। तो एक थोड़ा थोड़ा करके शुरुआत तो करें, ताकि आगे जाके वो अच्छे से उस वक्त पे खा सके। स्किपिंग ब्रेकफास्ट इज एसोसिएटेड विथ ओबेसिटी इन चिल्ड्रन, ये देखा गया है। और वैसे हम लोग कहते हैं कि अगर ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं करता है तो उतना कैलोरीज तो वो कम खा रहा है। दिस इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट कैलोरीज, दिस इज अबाउट ईटिंग एट द राइट टाइम। और ब्रेकफास्ट ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि अगर बच्चा ब्रेकफास्ट लेता है तो वो स्कूल में या कॉलेज में अगर पढ़ता है, एडोलेसेंट है, टीन्स है, तो वो ज्यादा फोकस से पढ़ सकता है। अगर खेल रहा है तो ज्यादा फोकस से खेल सकता है। तो ब्रेकफास्ट सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है ओबेसिटी प्रिवेंशन में भी और ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एडोलेसेंट्स के लिए भी। फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स का न्यूट्रिशन गोल क्या होना चाहिए? एटलीस्ट 5 सर्विंग्स ऑफ फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स डेली होने चाहिए। जूस के फॉर्म में या स्नैक्स के कैंडी फॉर्म में नहीं होना चाहिए, तो फ्रेश होना चाहिए। बच्चों को या एडोलेसेंट को चूज करने चाहिए कि वो कौन से फ्रूट्स खाए। तो इन्वॉल्व द चिल्ड्रन इन मील प्लानिंग। उनसे पूछिए आप क्या खाना पसंद करोगे, आप कौन सी सब्जी या कौन सा फल खाना पसंद करोगे, और उस हिसाब से उन्हें वो फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स देने चाहिए। फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स को मील्स के साथ अगर दे तो कहते हैं कि बच्चे पे प्रेशर नहीं आता है कि वो कब खाए क्या खाए। सब्जियां तो भारतीय खाने में हम लोग दाल चावल रोटी सब्जी खाते ही हैं। हम लोग फ्रूट्स को मील के पहले, यानी जैसे लंच है तो लंच के पहले 11 बजे एक फ्रूट स्नैकिंग हम दे सकते हैं, या 4 o'clock बिफोर द इवनिंग सपर हम लोग फ्रूट्स दे सकते हैं। तो वेजिटेबल्स तो हम लोग इंडियंस खाने के साथ खा ही लेते हैं, लेकिन फ्रूट्स हम लोग इन बिटवीन मील्स दे सकते हैं। और हमें बच्चों को कंटिन्यूअसली नए फूड्स ऑफर करने चाहिए पुराने फूड्स के साथ, ताकि इनिशियली अगर वो खाए ना, लेकिन ही शुड फील कि मुझे ये ट्राई करके देखना चाहिए। एंड धीरे से हम उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि आप ये भी ट्राई करके देखिए, अब ये भी ट्राई करके देखिए, इसमें अच्छा है। और अगर फैमिली मेंबर्स एक साथ बैठ के खाना खाते हैं तो बच्चे भी जो माँ बाप की या दादा दादी नाना नानी के प्लेट में दिखता है वो खाने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो ओबेसिटी प्रिवेंशन में ऑफरिंग ऑफ न्यू फूड्स भी बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है। ईटिंग फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स, ये कैलोरी डेंस जो फूड आइटम्स बच्चे बीच में खा लेते हैं, जंक की तरह चूड़ा चिप्स या मैगी फॉर दैट मैटर, या फिर चॉकलेट्स फॉर दैट मैटर, तो ये खाना थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा, क्योंकि फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल्स कैलोरीज के साथ एक फाइबर भी जैसे सोल्यूबल और नॉन सोल्यूबल दोनों टाइप के फाइबर भी स्टमक में देते हैं। और ये फाइबर कंटेंट की वजह से एक तो ब्लड शुगर स्पाइक नहीं होता है, और दूसरी बात भूख कम लगती है, बिकॉज गैस्ट्रिक एम्प्टिंग थोड़ा सा डिलेड है बिकॉज ऑफ द फाइबर। और इसी की वजह से हाई कैलोरी स्नैकिंग की जो टेंडेंसी होती है विच लीड्स टू ओबेसिटी इन द लॉन्ग रन, वो हम कम कर सकते हैं। एनर्जी डेंस फूड्स का न्यूट्रिशन गोल क्या होना चाहिए? तो फ्राइड फूड्स को मील्स के साथ सर्व नहीं करना चाहिए। दूसरी बात है हाई कैलोरी स्नैक्स थोड़े से घर के बाहर रखे तो सही है। तो घर में जैसे पड़ा है, पेरेंट्स इफ दे आर वर्किंग एंड दी हाई कैलोरी स्नैक्स आर देयर एट होम, जैसे चिप्स और चॉकलेट्स और कुकीज, कि बच्चे को बीच में अगर खाना भूख लगे तो कुछ तो रहना चाहिए घर में। तो ये सारी चीजें अगर हम लोग कम करें, फ्रिज में आइसक्रीम्स और कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स अगर कम रखें और फ्रेश फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल्स ज्यादा रखें, तो ये ज्यादा मायने रखता है। अगर इंडियन हाई कैलोरी स्नैक की बात करें तो ये एक कंप्लीट हाई कैलोरी स्नैक रहता है। जैसे हम लोग बेसन के लड्डू या सत्तू के लड्डू या रागी के लड्डू बनाते हैं, तो ये कार्ब प्रोटीन फैट फाइबर का एक अच्छा कॉम्बिनेशन है। तो इन्हें हम हाई कैलोरी डेंस स्नैक नहीं बोल सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये एक कंप्लीट मील इन इटसेल्फ हो जाता है। तो अगर ये घर में रखें तो सही है, लेकिन जो एम्प्टी कैलोरीज हाई कार्बोहाइड्रेट हाई फैट स्नैक्स है उसे हमें कम रखना चाहिए। लो फैट या स्किम मिल्क ही रखें तो चीज और ब्रेकफास्ट सीरियल्स का क्वांटिटी हम लोग कम रख सकते हैं। स्नैक्स शुड बी मेड फ्रॉम 2 फूड ग्रुप्स, हमने अभी जो डिस्कस किया, इंडियन लड्डूज जो है या इवन इंडियन स्नैक्स जो फ्राइड है, लेकिन 2-3 फूड ग्रुप से, जैसे कार्बोहाइड्रेट प्रोटीन्स से बना हुआ है। तो अगर हम इंडियन चकली की बात करें तो उसमें अगर हम लोग फाइबर की बात करें, उसमें हम लोग कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स की बात करें, उसमें हम लोग प्रोटीन्स की बात करें और फैट्स की बात करें, तो सारी चीजें आ जाती है। तो ऐसे जो इंडियन स्नैकिंग आइटम्स है वो हम लोग घर पे रख सकते हैं। होममेड स्नैक पैक्स यूजिंग स्मॉल बैग्स एंड कंटेनर्स, छोटे छोटे बैग्स में रखे, छोटे छोटे डब्बों में रखे, ताकि बच्चों को जब वो स्नैकिंग कर रहे हैं तब एक साथ बहुत सारा एनर्जी डेंस फूड एक साथ ना मिले, क्योंकि अगर वो मंच कर रहा है तो they are unstoppable. So we need to give small containers. स्नैक टाइम का शेड्यूल ऐसा रखे कि जब वो भूखे हैं और मील टाइम्स के क्लोज है, ऐसा स्नैकिंग टाइम नहीं रखें। तो ऐसा रखना चाहिए कि खाने से 2 या 2.5 घंटे पहले अगर थोड़ा सा स्नैकिंग करे तो ठीक है, लेकिन बाकी के वक्त में नहीं। स्वीट एंड बेवरेजेस, मीठे जो बेवरेजेस है, इसमें इंडियन शरबत या छाछ या पन्हा या अगर हम लोग कहते हैं कोकम शरबत या आंवला शरबत, ये सब सही है। लेकिन अगर और मेन बेवरेजेस तो पानी और लो फैट मिल्क होना चाहिए। लेकिन अगर डाइट आर्टिफिशियली स्वीटेंड बेवरेजेस जो है वो भी थोड़ा बहुत ओके है, लेकिन इंडियन सिनारियोज में तो मैं इसे भी मना करने की ही कोशिश करूंगी। फ्रूट जूस भी एक हाई स्वीटेंड बेवरेज की तरह कंसिडर होना चाहिए और ये भी ओबेसिटी का कारण बन सकता है। और आगे जाके बात करें तो कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स है, एरेटेड ड्रिंक्स है, सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स है, इन्हें तो पूरी तरह से मना करना चाहिए। सो ऑल शुगर स्वीटेंड बेवरेजेस और जूसेस को मना करना चाहिए और घर के फ्रिज से उन्हें बाहर निकालना चाहिए। रेस्टोरेंट और फास्ट फूड्स का जो गोल है उसमें फ्यूअर टेकआउट या फास्ट फूड मील्स हफ्ते में 1 बार होनी चाहिए। और मील प्लानिंग में बच्चों को भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए ताकि आप क्या खाना पसंद करोगे ये अगर पूछे तो रेस्टोरेंट जाने की बात ही कम हो जाए। और फैमिली मील्स एक साथ अगर हो तो काफी बार घर का खाना ही मजेदार लगता है और बच्चों को प्लानिंग में इंक्लूड करना चाहिए। पोर्शन साइजेस के बारे में अगर बात करें तो बच्चे का एज, उसका डिग्री ऑफ ओबेसिटी और लेवल ऑफ फिजिकल एक्टिविटी देख के कितना पोर्शन उसने खाना चाहिए वो एक न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट और पीडियाट्रिशियन मिलके डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। बैलेंस्ड प्लेट अप्रोच रहना जरूरी है ताकि सारे न्यूट्रिएंट्स, कार्बोहाइड्रेट, प्रोटीन, फैट, फाइबर, विटामिन, मिनरल्स, ये सारे के सारे प्लेट में आने चाहिए। लार्ज पोर्शन साइजेस एनर्जी इनटेक ज्यादा देते हैं, ये तो हर एक को पता है, और इसीलिए स्मॉल पोर्शन साइजेस रखना बहुत जरूरी है। और पेरेंट्स को बहुत बच्चे के पीछे भी नहीं लगना चाहिए कि आपने इतना ही खाना है, कम खाना, ज्यादा खाना है। कभी कभार भूख ज्यादा लग सकती है तो उस वक्त सैलड्स का ऑप्शन या फ्रूट्स का ऑप्शन या वेजिटेबल्स का ऑप्शन ज्यादा रखना जरूरी हो जाता है। तब हम लोग पोर्शन साइज और फाइबर साइज में एक कंपेंसेटरी फैक्टर देख के बच्चे को दे सकते हैं। बैलेंस्ड प्लेट रखना बहुत जरूरी है। मील फ्रीक्वेंसी एंड स्नैकिंग के बारे में तो 3 रेगुलर मील्स हम लोग कहते हैं बच्चों में देना चाहिए, उसमें भी 1 और 2 एडिशनल हेल्दी स्नैकिंग एक्टिविटी जैसे हमने पहले बात की वो देना चाहिए। एक स्नैक टाइम हमने डिसाइड करना चाहिए और किचन आवर्स कि इसी वक्त खाना मिलेगा, जब चाहे फ्रिज खोल के जब चाहे किचन में जाके खाना नहीं मिलेगा। अगर ये हम लोग स्ट्रिक्ट फॉलो करते हैं तो चाइल्डहुड ओबेसिटी को हम लोग प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं। और हंगर और फुलनेस के बारे में बच्चे को सिखाना बहुत जरूरी है कि भूख लगती है तब कैसे लगता है और जब पेट फुल हो जाता है तब कैसे लगता है। तो एक वो जो 20 मिनट रूल है, 20 मिनट रूल ऑफ ईटिंग अ मील, वो फॉलो करना जरूरी है। ना कि फटाफट खाना, 10 मिनट में खाना फिनिश करना कि ब्रेन को समझे ही ना कि पेट भर चुका है, या फिर आराम से सामने मीडिया है, टीवी देखते देखते अगर खाना शुरू है तो फिर आने दो करके जो टेंडेंसी होती है उसको भी हम लोग रोक लगा सकते हैं। पेरेंट्स का गोल क्या होना चाहिए? पेरेंट्स और केयर गिवर का एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल है हेल्दी ईटिंग हैबिट्स में। और अगर हम अच्छे से खाना खाएं, हम हेल्दी ईटिंग करें और हम लोग रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज करें तो हमारे बच्चे एडोलेसेंट वो भी हमें फॉलो करेंगे। और ट्राई टू गेट ऑल फैमिली मेंबर्स टू डू द सेम। जितने ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग, अगर आजकल तो न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज ज्यादा देखी जाती है, तो अगर फादर मदर इफ दे आर फॉलोइंग अ हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल तो बच्चे भी उनको फॉलो करना सीख जाते हैं। और डाइट और एक्टिविटी गोल्स के बारे में बच्चों से डिस्कस करें, बी ऑनेस्ट विद देम। कभी कभी तो हम लोग भी मील स्किप कर जाते हैं या कभी फ्रूट नहीं खाते हैं या कभी सलाद छोड़ देते हैं, तो वी शुड बी ऑनेस्ट विद देम। अगर हम ऑनेस्टली उनसे बात करें तो वो भी हमसे खुल के बात करेंगे कि ठीक है आज के दिन मैंने नहीं खाया, लेकिन कल से फिर से शुरू करते हैं। सो ये पेरेंट्स का मेन गोल होना चाहिए, मोटिवेशनल अप्रोच होना चाहिए मील प्लानिंग में और होम न्यूट्रिशनल एनवायरनमेंट में। पेरेंट्स का फैमिली प्लान्स और ईटिंग मील्स टुगेदर होने चाहिए। सिंगल मील प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द एंटायर फैमिली होना चाहिए। ऐसे नहीं कि ए को ये पसंद है, बी को ये पसंद है, तो ये सब्जी इनके लिए बनती है, ये सब्जी इनके लिए बनती है, ये गलत बात है। सबके लिए एक ही खाना बनेगा और बच्चों से लेके एल्डरली तक थोड़ा बहुत वेरिएशन फॉर टेक्सचर और कंसिस्टेंसी हो सकता है, लेकिन सब्जी और रोटी और दाल और चावल तो वही रहेंगे। तो अगर ये कंसिस्टेंसी रखते हैं तो बच्चे भी सीख जाते हैं कि मेरे लिए कुछ अलग अप्रोच नहीं है, मेरे लिए भी वही खाना बन रहा है जो पूरी फैमिली के लिए बन रहा है और मैं भी वही खाने वाला हूँ। ग्रोसरी लिस्ट में हेल्दी चॉइसेस होने चाहिए। चिप्स, चॉकलेट्स, कुकीज, बिस्किट्स, रेडी टू ईट नूडल्स, पास्ताज, ये थोड़ा कम रखे तो अच्छा है। और सेम मील फैमिली मेंबर्स के लिए रखनी चाहिए। और एक फूड आइटम बच्चे के लाइक्स और डिसलाइक पे हम लोग रख सकते हैं, यानी होल मील में कार्ब, प्रोटीन, फैट, फाइबर, विटामिन, मिनरल अगर सही है, लेकिन बच्चे को थोड़ा सा कुछ और वन आइटम अगर अलग रखना है तो उतना रख सकते हैं, बट द रेस्ट ऑफ द मील शुड बी विद द फैमिली एज द फैमिली इज ईटिंग, और जो वो खा रहे कोई बच्चे खाएं। मोटिवेशनल अप्रोच में बच्चे का सेल्फ इमेज और ईटिंग पैटर्न बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है। तो हेल्दी बॉडी इमेज के बारे में बच्चे से हम लोग बात कर सकते हैं, और पॉजिटिव थिंग्स टू से टू द चाइल्ड so that they should not focus on their obesity or their excess weight। ये बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है। बॉडी शेमिंग नहीं होना चाहिए, और इवन इन द फैमिली, अमंग्स द फैमिली मेंबर्स भी ये बात बहुत जरूरी है ध्यान में रखने के लिए कि बच्चे को डीमोटिवेट ना करें। पेरेंट्स शुड यूज द सेम पॉजिटिव टॉक टू देमसेल्व्स। बी पॉजिटिव अबाउट ट्राइंग न्यू फूड्स, नए खाने के बारे में हम लोग पॉजिटिव रहे, और हेल्दी रिलेशनशिप विद फूड रहना बहुत जरूरी है। बच्चे के दिमाग में हमेशा मुझे ये खाना, ये खाना, ये खाना, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए। इसलिए एक चीट डे हम लोग तो रख सकते हैं जब बच्चा अपने मन से खा सकता है, बट देन उसे ये समझाना भी जरूरी है कि ये सिर्फ एक दिन के लिए है, बाकी हफ्ते के 6 दिन हम लोग जो रूटीनली फॉलो करते हैं उसमें से भी हमें अच्छे न्यूट्रिएंट्स मिलते हैं। टेस्ट मॉडिफिकेशंस थोड़ा बहुत हम लोग ट्राई कर सकते हैं बच्चे के हिसाब से, एंड वी कैन एनकरेज अबाउट ईटिंग। और स्क्रीन टाइम कंट्रोल तो होना चाहिए, क्योंकि टैबलेट, फोन, वीडियो गेम देख देख के अगर खाना खा रहे हैं तो उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। तो विच अप्लाइज टू ऑल फैमिली मेंबर्स, नॉट ओनली द किड्स। तो डाइनिंग टेबल पे अगर फोन लेके बैठे हैं तो अडल्ट अगर करते हैं तो बच्चे भी वही करेंगे, तो उसे हमें नहीं करना चाहिए। देन टेलीविजन व्यूइंग मील टाइम्स पे नहीं रहना चाहिए। बच्चों के रूम्स में टेलीविजन नहीं रहना चाहिए। स्मार्टफोन अगर दूर रखे, और अच्छे से खाने के टाइम एक फैमिली मीडिया अग्रीमेंट है कि खाने के टाइम हम लोग टीवी नहीं लगाएंगे, न्यूज नहीं देखेंगे या कुछ सीरियल्स नहीं देखेंगे, और खाने पे अगर ध्यान देंगे तो सही रहेगा ओबेसिटी प्रिवेंशन में। और बच्चों को भी ये गोल सेटिंग में इंक्लूड करना चाहिए। उन्हें ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि क्या सिर्फ मैं अपना टीवी सीरियल या अपना टीवी टाइम सैक्रिफाइस कर रहा हूँ और बाकी फैमिली मेंबर्स तो अपने हिसाब से देख रहे हैं। तो ऐसा नहीं है। अगर डाइनिंग टेबल पे फैमिली टाइम पे अगर सब लोग सिर्फ खाना ही खा रहे हैं और आपस में एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं, तो बच्चे को भी लगेगा कि यस, दिस इज व्हाट इट इज सपोज टू बी। फिर एजुकेशनल अगर स्क्रीन टाइम है तो उसके लिए हम लोग ज्यादा मना नहीं कर सकते हैं, बट वी हैव टू मेक श्योर कि वो सिर्फ एजुकेशनल एक्टिविटीज ही देख रहे हैं या कुछ और कर रहे हैं। तो ये अवेयरनेस हमें पेरेंट्स रखना चाहिए, और ये बैलेंस विद फिजिकल एक्टिविटी रखना चाहिए। तो 1 घंटा फिजिकल एक्टिविटी रोज होना चाहिए, जिसमें अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड प्ले और एक्टिव प्ले रहना चाहिए, आउटडोर एक्टिविटी रहना चाहिए, रूटीन एक्टिविटी, वॉकिंग टू स्कूल तो अगर है उसके अलावा भी ये एक्टिविटी रहनी चाहिए। और फिजिकल एक्टिविटी में स्पोर्ट्स या फिजिकल कंडीशनिंग के साथ साथ रिक्रिएशनल एक्टिविटीज भी रखनी चाहिए। तो अगर कोच है या सेल्फ डायरेक्टेड एक्टिविटी है तो बच्चों को एनकरेज करना चाहिए। सिर्फ एक एक्टिविटी नहीं तो एक पीडोमीटर हम लोग स्टेप काउंटर करके यूज कर सकते हैं, और बच्चों को जो मेनली ओबेसिटी से जूझ रहे हैं उन्हें बता सकते हैं कि हम लोग ये पीडोमीटर कैसे यूज करेंगे। सो अराउंड 10,000 स्टेप्स तो बच्चे आराम से एक्टिव रह सकते हैं, बी इट एनी स्टेज ऑफ ओबेसिटी। अगर कोमॉर्बिडिटी नहीं है, अगर कुछ कार्डियक इशू, लिपिड इश्यूज या फैटी लिवर इश्यूज अगर नहीं है, ब्रेथलेसनेस अगर नहीं हो रहा है बच्चों में, तो ओबेसिटी में स्टेप काउंटर अगर यूज करते हैं तो वी कैन मोटिवेट द चाइल्ड टू वॉक मोर।
Thank you. We are running short of time. I request Dr. Jay Bhandarkar to start his presentation.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Jay.
Okay. Thank you. My own Raigad IP as well as my IP and associated with the AHA for giving the opportunity to talk on this very important topic, which is very near to my heart. And as you know, we're having two wonderful speakers. First, Dr. Snehal and again this Khandekar madam for this. So women IPL started. So I will take over. I will cut my short all this. एक मिनिट हा पहिला सुपर लागेल. So the topic given to me is importance of exercise. What is minimum exercise required for doing the adolescence? So friends, why adolescence च्यावरच का बोलायचं आपल्याला, तर this major changes are occurring in physical, psychology and behavioral changes occurring during the adolescent phase, as well as these adolescents are the great human resource for the society, as well as growth spurts occur. This is, and they are physically very active, and the development of adult mental process and activity identities occurs during the adolescence period. And all these healthy adults are responsible for the better parenthood. So why? So number wise, around 1 in 6 person world is an adolescent. There is 1.2 billion age between 10 to 19. Most are the healthy, but the significant death and the illness and disease in the adolescents also. And this promoting healthy practices during adolescence and taking steps to better protect the young children from the health risks. And this is very critical for their prevention. And already this madam already was in the detail about the nutrition, but for the good growth, nutrition is the most important factor. Almost the adult height, 20% adult height is gained during the adolescence. Weight, that is 25 to 50% of final adult weight is gained during this adolescence. And 50% of bone mass is accumulated at the end of second decade. So nutrition is very, very important during the adolescent phase. What is physical fitness? Actually, physical fitness described as a condition that helps us look great, feel better, and do our best. Actually, fitness involves the performance of the heart, lungs, and the muscles of the body. And the physical activity is an important part of play and learning for the overall growth and development. Every day, the child should be active, and this benefits throughout their life. So, habit of activity from early childhood will carry health, then remain active throughout their life. So that's if the child is active during his childhood as well as during adolescence, is going to be active throughout his life. What are the benefits? Everybody knows it. It helps overall growth and development. The child will be more happy, relaxed. It improves the concentrations, control the weight and blood pressure, increase the self-esteem and confidence, and we will have the healthy heart, the strong bones and muscles. It improves the posture and flexibility. Soft skill improvement is there, and better emotional well-being and new skills. So these things are very, very important. This healthy lifestyles or active child, or I can say active adults or fit adults, have a lot of benefits. Most important things already told by this madam, the parents are the role models. The child look at the parents. So I will advise parents, take out the quality time to engage the physical activity with the child. Give exposure to the child for the variety of sports activity as well as physical activities, but see your child comfort level also. So you should take this quality time of yours and take your child to just give exposure to your child to various activities so that child can be engaged. He can like the activity and it will continue that activity in his lifelong. Why this? Do youth need all this activity? Yes. Already I mentioned that at least 60 minutes of the physical activity is very, very important. And you can say the three type activities: aerobic activities, muscle strengthening activities, and bone strengthening activities. But this activity should be age appropriate, enjoyable, and should be done in the fun way, and should offer the variety also. So aerobic activities, yes, it should be moderate to vigorous type, 60 minutes of at least 3 to 4 days in a week. And the muscle strengthening exercise also very important, 3 days at least week. And bone strengthening like a jumping and other things also at least 3 days of a week should be done. So 60 minutes every day, you cannot subject less time cannot do that at a stage 60 minutes, but you can bifurcate 15 minutes 4 times or 20, or when you get the time you should be active. And most should be aerobic activities like a variety for even dancing, jumping, running, cycling. All these are the aerobic activities. And why it is significant? This activity keep your body moving enough to increase the heart rate and make you breathe harder. तर या ज्या ऍक्टिव्हिटी आहेत या मॉडरेट टू विगरस इंटेन्सिटी पाहिजे, तुमचा हार्ट रेट आणि तुमचा रेस्पिरेटरी रेट हा दोन्ही वाढला पाहिजे ऍटलीस्ट 1.5 times ऑफ द युअर प्रेझेंट जो काय तुमचा हार्ट रेट. फॉर एक्झाम्पल युअर हार्ट रेट 70 शुड बी ऍटलीस्ट रेस्ट टू 100 or 120. Your breathing as 20 per minute, you should be at least breathe as 30 to 35 per minute. So you should see that की आपला हार्ट रेट किंवा आपण ब्रेथलेस झालोय ऍक्टिव्हिटी नंतर. So same thing mentioned here. So what are the various activities can be done this for the children as well for the adolescent? Yes, aerobics like hiking, mana, cycling, then brisk walking, which can be done by the both, as well as vigorous intense activity, jumping, martial arts, running. Even you can play football with your child, swimming, and you have interest for like a badminton, tennis also. And can be done. Jumping rooms with which are easily available in our home, definitely. And some activity can be like a unstructured ways aerobic, like a climbing trees, playing tug of war, even रस्सी खेच आपण म्हणतो ना, ते पण करणं आपल्या फॅमिलीमध्ये पण तो बरेच एक्सरसाइजेस आहेत. सिंपल पुशअप, पुलअप्स, वर्किंग रेजिस्टन्स बँड्स अँड लिफ्टिंग सिंपल वेट्स, इट कॅन बी डन. म्हणजे हे घरात आपल्याला फार इझिली आपण करू शकतो सगळ्या मुलांबरोबर. अँड सेम थिंग व्हॉट आर द मसल स्ट्रेंथिंग. मसल स्ट्रेंथिंग मध्ये हे सगळे आले, म्हणजे तुमचे टग ऑफ वॉर आलं, पुशअप्स आले, रोप क्लाइम्बिंग आलं, सीटअप पुशअप्स आले. अँड ऑल दिस गेम्स कॅन बी डेफिनेटली डन इन द होम. इव्हन तुम्ही आता मॅडम म्हणलं की स्क्रीन टाइम तुम्ही कमी ठेवा, पण सर्टन तुम्ही ऍप पण तुम्ही सगळेजण काहीतरी माइल्ड टू मॉडरेट टू सिव्हिअर एक्सरसाइज असलेले डिफरंट ऍप्स पण आहेत आपल्या प्ले स्टोअरवर. ते तुम्ही फॉलो करून पण तुम्ही घरी बरेच एक्सरसाइज करू शकता. So, at a bone strengthening, yes, this exercise promote the broncho strength as well as the jumping सारखा जो exercise, त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला bones वर काहीतरी प्रेशर येतं, that gives a greatest gain in the bone mass. मी ऑलरेडी जे सांगितले तुम्हाला की during this period almost 50% of the जो आपला बोन मास आहे किंवा बोन गेन आहे सेकंड इयर म्हणजे 20 वर्ष वयापर्यंत, तर हे एक्सरसाइजेस आर व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. सो दॅट ऍट द एक्सरसाइज न्यूट्रिशन ऑल्सो व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. अँड काय डिफरन्स आहे का म्हणजे आपल्या अडोसन्सचा एक्सरसाइज आणि अडल्टचा? येस, बेसिकली नॅचरल adults are naturally very active, so they can have a moderate vigorous exercise very easily as a daily requirement. And unstructured with three type of exercise, muscle strengthening, bone and जे म्हटलं ते तिन्ही activity, and but this activity can be done with physical activity, and this can be done every day as an adult at least 3 to 4 times in a day. So I already mentioned here about the screen free time. Yes, children should be need to be away from the computers, TV, mobiles in order to experience around them. And when it away, you helps to discover the connect to the surroundings. Already mentioned by the madam, you should at least while eating, you should not have your screen in front or mobile with them. And already said की पॅरेंट्स आर द रोल मॉडेल्स. तर तुम्ही स्वतः जर मोबाईल बघत असाल तर आपलं मूल काय शिकणार, तर आपण ते करून त्याचा चांगला उपयोग कसा करता येईल मी मिळाले प्ले स्टोर मध्ये बरेच चांगले एक्झरसाइजेस आहेत. ते गोल तर मी 10 इव्हन लॉकडाऊन मध्ये घरी असताना आय हॅव डन दॅट एक्झरसाइजेस आर व्हेरी वंडरफुल. You can start from the 10-12 minutes and wonderful way can definitely this you can use the smartphone to have a better health play activities on the mobile. So what are the how to get your kid to the exercise? म्हणजे आपण फक्त म्हणून होणार नाही तर be a role model. Your children should watch, mimic your habits and good bad. Use exercise as a transportation, as a connect to your child. In all whole family, focus on more of fun. Make it activity social. मी बघितलं की सोसायटीमध्ये जेव्हा लॉकडाऊन होता आम्ही टेरेसमध्ये सगळे मिळून एक्सरसाइज करतो. तो मेक इन्व्हॉल्व अदर किड्स ऑल्सो अँड यूज कॉम्पिटिशन एज अ मोटिवेटर अँड इन्क्लूड अ चाइल्ड इन होलसोड ऍक्टिव्हिटीज. इव्हन साधं झाडू मारणे किंवा आपले फरशी पुसून घेणे पण हा चांगला एक्सरसाइज असतो. अँड गिव्ह गिफ्ट्स दॅट प्रमोट द फिजिकल ऍक्टिव्हिटी. म्हणजे मी तुम्हाला ठीक आहे चॉकलेट किंवा काही ट्रीट देईन पण हे घर झाडल्यानंतर किंवा हे केल्यानंतर म्हणा किंवा पुसल्यानंतर so that is a physical activity which helps to the child to do other things. So what are the basic components of physical fitness? Yes, cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility in body composition. Not going the details of these terminals. And the others are like a fitness. There can be individuality, specific, progression, overload, adaptation, recovery, reversibility. So 3 types of exercises are there: aerobics, strength training, and flexibility training. So, though I talk about the adults and some physical activity can be for the kids also. So, toddlers and preschools are really naturally very active. They look for the fun physical games for the kids that don't require much of structure when they're preschools. So, toddlers are very best when the moms and dad play too with them. So, most of these activity can be done without any extra equipments. So, like jumping jacks, balance beam, keep balloon up, dancing, hot potato, duck goose. All these games can be played with a 2 to 4 year age. And even a frog jump, dog, lizard crawl, bird, penguin waddle, and any other animals you mimic with them and play with them. And so musical chairs is one of the I think is can be done in the home as well as is a very social fun way. So like it's 26 January, 15 August, definitely society we enjoy that musical chair and very very enjoyable also as well as give the good exercise. And indoor games like a jumping rope, even small basketball you get in the home also small that can be done. So all family can be done. Yes, cycling, push-ups, sit-ups, hiking, running, cycling, by soccer, tennis, swimming, hockey, and these simple things. Even this can be done in the society as well as between the families, and you can enjoy these games also. And about the weight training, yes, as early as 78, this strength training can be a valuable part of overall fitness plan. But as long as the child is mature enough to follow the direction, able to do a proper technique and form. So there are other fun ways on structure, climbing, swimming, and climbing tree, gymnastic, push-up, pull-ups. This and also get the good muscle growth. And you may heard the rumor that weight trains stunt the growth, but concern that weight training can injure the areas of bone. There's a growth plates can get injured, but there is no actually is evidence. Even high impact sports like gymnastics, soccer, football are harm the growth plates. It should in the proper way as well as it should under guidance of the proper trainer. And jumping exercise like a jump squats are the best way to increase the height, support the condition of the muscles as the joints of the lower body. You know that exercise itself increases the growth hormone level, even running by 10-20 times, and definitely that helps to increase the height. So too much pressure putting on the young muscles, bone tendons, yes, they can carry injury. But if it done properly under adequate form and supervision, definitely it will help better. So I think I had cut it short, but always I said that parents are the role models, and as well as I personally feel you should take your time or a busy schedule, whatever you are the doctors, engineers, तुमचा प्रोफेशनल तुम्ही वेळ काढून मुलांना जोपर्यंत तुम्ही घेऊन जाऊन त्या ठिकाणी घेऊन जात नाही तोपर्यंत मुलांना एक्सपोज तुम्ही करणार नाही तोपर्यंत मुलांना ते नक्की त्यातला एन्जॉयमेंट करणार नाही. तर थोडा प्रयत्न जास्त मिळतात की पॅरेंट्सचा जास्त रोल आहे की मुलांना इव्हन आणि ते स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द अर्ली चाइल्डहुड नॉट लेटर अडोसन्स. तर ठीक आहे मुलं ऑलरेडी हार्मोनल ह्याच्यामध्ये असतात आणि ते तुमचं ऐकणार नाहीत, पण तुम्ही यू स्टार्ट ॲज 2, 4, 5 years एज तर डेफिनेटली दे विल डेव्हलप देअर लाइकिंग ड्युरिंग दॅट पिरियड. तर त्या एक्सपोजर गिव्हिंग इज more important so that they can follow their exercise pattern and you and your things. So thank you very much for giving the wonderful opportunity. I know we're late. So thanks. Happy exercising. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Jay, for a wonderful talk on this exercise. As you said, the parents are the role models, so we have to start first so that our children do it right. I think we are really running short of time. Chitra, can we take a question or two if anyone has?
Please, we have to wind up. It is already 10:30.
Okay.
So I think
Sure.
straight away go to vote of thanks.
Yes, yes. I'll request Dr. Nia to go ahead with it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Being the co-chairperson of Maha-IP Women's Committee and Raigad IIP and Raigad IAHW member, I would like to thank Maha-IP President Dr. Ramakant Patil sir and Secretary General Dr. Amol Pawar sir. Also, Women's Committee Chairperson Sonali ma'am for giving us their support. Would like to thank Dr. Adesh Kumar Pathare sir, President of Raigad Medical Association, for accepting our invitation and joining us today. Would thank Raigad IIP President Dr. Vikas More sir and Secretary Dr. Ajay Kohli sir for giving their support. I would like to thank all the three eminent speakers of today for delivering their topics fantastically. Would like to thank our Raigad AHA President Dr. Chitra Kulkarni ma'am, Secretary Dr. Sunita ma'am for organizing this useful and neat for our program for adolescents and their parents. It was a very wonderful program. And would thank all the EB and OB members of Maha-IP, Raigad IIP, HA Raigad, and Maha-IP Women's Committee for attending today's program. Would like to thank Dr. Vishal Rao sir for letting us this live YouTube telecast, and would request everyone to please join our further programs which will be in this week for adolescent week celebration. Thank you. And
Thank you. We will be having a session on sleep hygiene. Then we are planning for mental health and prevention of suicide and drug abuse. And the third program will be anger management in adolescents and violence prevention. So these are in the pipeline. Do watch our SMS or our WhatsApp messages, and I really thank for our central AHA member Dr. Shailaja Mane to be here and attending the webinar. Thank you, Dr. Shailaja.
Thank you.
Vishal,
It
please,
was very good program actually. Thank you. Congratulations all.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you for taking this very important and burning issue actually. We are having SSS tomorrow here in Pune.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Good night.
Shall we stop the meeting now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Vishal, stop the recording. Vishal, sir.